What is executive presence? Executive presence is making someone feel the way you want them to feel after any interaction with them. If you can do this, you will literally go from a manager level to a leader, or take the next level from there in your career. Now, there are several things you need to avoid if you want executive presence, and several things you must do. So let me walk you through a few don'ts. The first don't is, especially when you're more junior, don't stay quiet. Don't stay quiet. Your goal should not be to be a mute throughout the meeting. And ideally, instead, you should speak up within the first 5 minutes. The reason for this is you want your voice to be heard, particularly when you are towards the bottom when it comes to your hierarchy in the organization. And you need to show that you belong. That's how you start to build up trust. Now, the next thing that you want to avoid whenever you are in a meeting, particularly with other executives, is you don't have an opinion. Avoid that. Avoid not having an opinion. And instead, what I want you to do, especially if you're leading a meeting, is I want you to state your intent. So for you, what would a successful meeting look like? And you might say, what I'm looking to accomplish from this meeting is X. And X is a one-line sentence of your goal. It might be, I want us to understand what are the key goals that we can align on for the next 3 months regarding this initiative, right? Or another goal might be, I want us to gain clarity as to whether we should move forward on this new project proposal. Okay? Whatever it is, keep that crisp. That's your objective, and that should be what others understand and agree with, right? The next thing you want to avoid when it comes to executive presence is constantly talking, okay? So I did say you need to speak up, right? But if you are just caught speaking, rambling, not really engaging anyone, you're just moving your mouth, everyone's lost you. But instead, what I want you to do if you are going to build executive presence is ask open-ended questions. Right? Open-ended questions are questions that get the other party to elaborate. Instead of giving a yes or no response, you might start with a question that has what at the beginning of it, or why, or how. Typically, it's one of these 3 words that are great when it comes to soliciting a real response from somebody. For example, if you were to give your point of view on a particular subject, you might pause and say, X person, and that might be the executive, Charlie, what specifically are you most concerned about regarding what I've just shared? And then they might think, I don't know if I'm concerned about anything, but, and they might elaborate on that. And what you've done is you've gotten them to talk. And the more that you can facilitate a conversation versus overpower a conversation, the more you're seen as having executive presence. Because at the end of the day, when you do these 3 things, you speak up, you state your intent, you ask open-ended questions, you all of a sudden are building connection with the other party. And that feeling that you're going to solicit in them is confidence in you. If you can get them to feel confident in you, in your abilities, I promise you, you will be seen as a leader over time in your organization.